Welcome to Impact Duty. I'm your host, Manisha Dadlani Kripalani, bringing you empowering stories of friends and people I admire. Their voices have given me joy and the momentum to share their stories with you. Our third interview is with Ekta Mukhi. She is a mother, wife, and magic baker, among other talents. Welcome, Ekta, to Impact Duty. Where are you right now?
I am in Ghana, West Africa, in Accra.
And how has the lockdown been for you over there?
So initially it came as a bit of a surprise because there were just about two cases that grew to 50 cases.
Ooh.
And so when the lockdown happened, we were all a bit like, oh my God, panicking and like what's going to happen. But that was quickly lifted in 3 weeks. And now we're at like 7,000 plus cases with no lockdown.
Oh dear.
And life very normally. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so it's actually the cases have actually escalated recently.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not technically in lockdown anymore. It's just people who choose to sort of stay away, and those who can't, I guess, don't and are going about their normal lives and routines. Yeah.
Right. Well, good luck and stay safe.
I shall.
Right. And Ekta, we've been seeing all this magnificent creativity coming out of your kitchen. I wanted to find out, were you always into cooking, or has the pandemic created this cooking creativity in you?
You know, I was just having this conversation with my friend the other day. I've always been into cooking. I've always loved the kitchen from a very young age. And whenever like I try something, I will keep trying it until I get it right or just the way I want it to. Mm-hmm. But in between, what happened is that I was pregnant with my son about almost 3 years ago, and I just completely could not stand being in the kitchen. So I kind of fell out of love of what I was once in love with.
Right.
And it's funny because I think COVID and I ironically I am pregnant at this time. So
bravo.
I sort of refound my love at the same in the same situation, but in a sort of different time.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the food you've been creating recently.
So a lot of it is stuff that I've been wanting to try, but you know, either like it seems a bit too daunting and tasking, or you'd rather just go out to eat. And what happens is a lot of the time on the weekends we're usually out with friends or with family. Right. So there's no time to sort of make like tasty food per se, because Monday to Friday, like I follow a very strict sort of diet regime.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, but then the weekend would sort of the weekend is like my time to play and just have fun. So we weren't going out and we weren't ordering food in. So the best thing was to sort of recreate things that I've always been wanting to. Right. And so that started off, and as the more you do, the more you enjoy, the more you get used to it, and the more people enjoy your food, the more sort of motivated you are to go back and even create more in the kitchen, you know. So that's actually how it started.
Do you have a very foodie centric household?
So I'm a big foodie. My husband is a foodie, but he's also someone who can eat the same food every day. So I wouldn't sort of pin it on him, but I've grown up in a household full of foodies, and all my friends are foodies. So literally on the phone, we had Zoom calls where we do cooking sessions together.
Really?
And creating a lot of dishes together. So that was nice because it felt like also it gave me a chance to really connect with a lot of my friends that don't live in Ghana anymore, because we were all in the same situation. So we all had time and we all sort of love food and love similar things. So that was really nice because we also connected via cooking and, you know, all these other things.
Right. I couldn't agree with you more. I think the connectivity has actually increased during this pandemic season.
Absolutely. And, you know, honestly, I feel like to people that actually matter in your lives, you know, the ones that don't, whether they live, normally we're very connected to people that live geographically in our region
I
because we're
agree.
meeting them more and everything, even though our hearts may be connected to people that don't live in the same country as us. But this has sort of left all like boundaries like time and
Hmm.
property, and we're all, I mean, it's just so amazing because at some point in time the entire world was going through the same thing, and
Oh,
so
yes,
we all felt probably even more connected than ever, you know.
totally.
that
Yeah.
that's
And have you done any of the Instagram challenges? Have you done the Dalgona coffee and the sour
No,
bread?
I
And
haven't. The Dalgona coffee, I was thinking about that. I haven't done that.
really,
Sourdough bread is something that I like. The thought of it seems so daunting that I don't even want to like get into
attempt it,
it.
right?
Yeah, and I love cooking, but I'm a very impatient person in the kitchen and in life as well. So I don't have the patience for like a
All
starter, starter, or a tuna.
right. Yeah. So what's the secret ingredient that you've been using though during this time? Or one of the things that you have created that have been a little out of the norm?
Um, like things like making dim sum and dumplings fresh
Mm,
at home. I've always
I
wanted to, but it's,
saw that.
yeah, and that it turned out really yummy. Um,
Yeah.
it also gives you like lists of things to add into your books, you know, when you're entertaining next, whenever that
Mhm.
happens, you know, more variety. um but ingredients wise, I'm trying to think what would be my favorite ingredient to use. You know, honestly, I don't know, but in every dish, if it's
So
a
good.
savory dish, I always have like my Ghanaian shito ready, the red one, and that just goes in everything because I feel like it just makes the taste extra special, you know.
I couldn't
um
agree more.
but in terms of one particular ingredient, I'm not sure I can, you know, essentially point that out
Yeah.
right
And
now. But
that's
I
where
do, I
we
like
have our
that.
connection
Yes, yes,
because I
absolutely.
grew up in Ghana and oh, I could really do with some good Ghanaian shito.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We love
Any other
Ghanaian.
Ghana, any other
We
Ghanaian influences?
Yeah, I mean, constant like the Ghanaian shito as well as the Ghanaian pepper. It's called
Mm-hmm.
papko, but I think it's more known as like the Jamaican peppers or the habaneros that you
Yes,
get. You
yes.
get them abroad, yeah. So that is something that I even use in my Indian cooking at home,
Ah,
because I just feel like it enhances the flavor
I
of
agree.
anything actually. Like in, you know, even we make like chili oil at home. I started making
Right.
these chili oil jars with
Wow.
a little bit of chili flakes, garlic, and the habanero, and it just like it just makes everything taste, from pasta to pizza to like a normal sourdough avo toast with some of that drizzled on it makes it taste amazing. So,
That seriously sounds like an Ekta secret ingredient.
yeah, that's probably my, that's one thing I did do, and I think I would say like two or three of my friends have followed, and they have a stash at home for
Ooh.
themselves. So
And what's on the plate, literally and figuratively? As in, what are we going to see on your next meal? And what are your plans for the near future?
you know, actually, I haven't been posting for a while because
Hmm.
I felt like it actually kind of took the joy out of cooking after a certain point in time. Because um, I think what happens is that when you get all the appreciation, all of a sudden, from the passion of cooking, it also becomes a bit more tailored towards like, oh, okay, I have to Instagram this, and then what are the reactions, and then I just felt like it took away a bit
Hmm.
from, you know, me just enjoying it and living in the moment, as opposed to, you know, how social media can get to all of us at some point in
Yes.
time. So in sorry, your question again, on your plate figuratively and
Future wise, what are we going to look at? What do you plan? I know
oh, you
that we have a
know, so
new edition coming soon.
yeah, so for the next couple of weeks now, I'm gonna have my hands full. So I've promised myself that I'm not going to enter the kitchen for the next 2 to 3 weeks
Oh,
because I
yippee.
just want to relax. But you know, I say that I've been saying that every week for the last like 6 weeks, and that it just keeps going even more and more and more. So that's not happening.
Hmm.
Um, but this cooking endeavor has made me really realize that cooking is something that I'm really passionate about.
Right.
And I was speaking to one of my friends who I mean she's been a recent friend, so I've come to know her recently, and I realized that she's also very passionate about cooking. And whilst talking, we realized we had very similar uh, goals in life, but we hadn't really ever
Lovely.
shared it. So maybe at some point I would look at starting like cooking classes,
Ooh.
akra, especially for like kids, you
Uh-huh.
know, of different age ranges, because I feel like cooking is something that is, it's like any other skill.
Right.
Um, you learn that you love it from a young age by trying your hands at a few things, and the minute
Mm.
you do, and the more you practice, and the more you, I mean, a lot of the stuff I know today is stuff that I learned when I was like 6 or 8, when we used to make,
That
those
young, Ekta?
big puddings. Yeah, we used to go for like art and craft summer classes,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes they would have like a cooking session where we'd learn to make biscuit pudding at the age of 8.
Wow.
And then I remember like summer would come, and then I'd have like my friends over, because perhaps we went to one class and we just learned a club sandwich, and I want to create that at home. So I realized at that point in time that I really enjoyed cooking, and that helped me even take it more further. Like when I was in uni, I was never one of those kids that was like, oh, I have to cook. It became a huge part of me. In fact, when I was in
Right.
uni, I think I had these group of friends, and they really appreciated my cooking, to the point where I would cook when they had their religious festivals, like
Ooh.
um, ceremonies. So I have actually cooked on like a 4 gas stove with a big pot of like dal and rice and biryani, and like, you almost even forget over the years that you've done this, but you realize that it's always been a part of you somehow. So
Totally.
so the cooking classes is something that I would be interested in starting, and maybe like a weekend cooking business where, like a homemade food, or like a special cookie service kind of a thing. Because me and one of my friends, Chani, we discovered this amazing cookie recipe that I've altered and altered and altered, and finally I've got to the point where it's amazing, and I always have a
Uh-huh.
stash of dough in the freezer. So that's something that I would be interested in doing. But again, it would be purely out of passion, because, as I said, I don't have the patience to actually just cook all day and make it like a business.
Ekta, that sounds delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And mentors, any new mentors or mentors from the past that have influenced you?
yeah, absolutely. I think my mom was one. I mean, she was an
Mhm.
amazing cook. Um, Her food was always raved about. And then I think over time, every place I've stayed in, I was when I was in uni, I went to uni, and I went to McGill, and my friend,
I'm a
uh,
McGillite.
I
Oh, you
know.
do?
Yeah, yeah, I do. And my friend, one of my friends, Gina,
Uh-huh.
she was 2 years above me, and
Right.
she makes delicious food. So a lot of I learned so much from her as
Right.
well. And then I lived in India for a certain amount of time, where I would take these like classes from this
Uh-huh.
chef called Raki Vaswani. Now at that
Ooh.
time she was just doing it off her studio, but today she's like a celebrity judge on Master Chef in India.
I need to
So
look her up.
yeah, you check her out. It's called Palette Culinary Studio,
I
and
will.
Raki Vaswani is her name. And
Right.
I mean, I've been to so many of her classes. She's fabulous. She's amazing. She makes
Mm-hmm.
food, like delicious food in such a simple and easy way. So
Right.
she's also been a mentor. Then obviously we all like follow Master Chef, and then we want to just sort of jump into the. And then I've had this friend called Chani.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And actually, I don't think I ever realized her potential in the kitchen,
Right.
but over the last few years, she's just grown to be this fabulous, fabulous cook and chef. And I went to visit her last year, and I realized, like, she makes the simplest food, but such tasty
Mm-hmm.
food. So, talking to her also, and then we
Right.
both down and think, okay, what should we make, and then come up with fun ideas. And it's nice to experiment with someone who you also feel like is as interested, and plus is knowing what they're doing more than even you are knowing, like even you know what you're doing, so that's nice.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Ekta. Was there anything that you were not able to access during this lockdown? I know your lockdown was only 3 weeks long, but anything that you couldn't access over there?
Yeah, like vanilla extract. I still don't have a good vanilla extract in my kitchen pantry. Baking chocolate.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Um,
okay.
you do get some stuff here, but then also then I outsourced, and I found someone who makes really, really good local chocolate, and
Is
actually
it?
tastes just like abroad. But I just feel like we generally tend to lack a lot of those kind of ingredients that
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
readily available abroad. Like in the sense of like buttermilk and stuff, you just
Yeah,
always have to
yeah.
make. But it completely changes the flavor of a cake if you were to get
Really?
original buttermilk, yeah, as opposed to squeezed lemon in milk, or in
Totally.
cream, not the same. So
Right. And any cooking disasters? Have we blown up the kitchen yet?
yeah. No, I haven't blown up the kitchen, but so many, so many. But they're
Really?
fun. I mean, you learn from them, and you learn what not to do, what to
Ah,
do.
yes.
Um, yeah, but not totally. I mean, yeah, nothing too drastic, but
Nothing too
yeah,
drastic.
nothing too drastic, nothing too
Yeah.
drastic. So
Cool.
yeah.
And if we wanted to look you up, Ekta, where would we find you?
You'd find me on Instagram. I'm not sure you'd find much food related because I usually just post as stories and not as
Right.
um, actual post. But maybe that will change at some point in time. Maybe it will change soon. Um, my IG account is ekta.mukhi,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, so you can look me up on Instagram.
Thank you. And Ekta, before I say goodbye to you and wish you all the very best with your upcoming delivery, a quick question. What
Yeah.
two ingredients would I always find in Ekta's kitchen?
My habanero peppers.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, that is like for sure. And what else would you always find? Chili flakes. I think I'm just a chili person, or
I can
garlic. Like,
see that.
yeah, I need to have these. If I don't have these at home, I don't feel complete. So yeah, usually just drizzle in everything I cook. So yeah,
Thank you, Ekta. It's been lovely speaking to you. Take care, stay safe.
thank you. You too.
Lastly, we have Tina Rane. Tina is a mom of two teenagers and has inspired me with her bento lunchbox creations and fabulous baking skills.
Hi, Tina. Welcome to Impact Duty. Where are
Hi.
you right now, and how has the lockdown been for you?
So I'm in Auckland, New Zealand at the moment, and the lockdown's been pretty commendable, given the fact that we are an island of 5 million people.
5 million
We've
only. Wow.
only very
Wow.
small island nation.
Excellent.
So we've had 5 weeks of complete lockdown with all the Kiwis diligently following the rules and remaining in their little bubbles, which has helped us contain the spread of the virus.
That's excellent.
Um, so currently, we only have one case this past week,
That is
and
incredible.
98% of the total affected have made a full recovery.
Those are great statistics, Tina. I'm so glad to hear that. I mean, that's an incredible flatten the curve story.
Absolutely. I mean, our Prime Minister, Jacinda, who the locals call Auntie Cindy, she she's done a great job, you know. So
Truly,
yeah.
truly. I
And
mean, really, it looks like it's the example to follow globally.
absolutely. I mean, looking at hearing the shocking numbers everywhere else, I think we've been quite lucky. And
Indeed.
yeah, so
Right.
Kiwis have followed the rules, and they've remained in their little bubbles. So yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. And so you've started your new normal, as in the first round of, right. So are your kids back to school?
Yes, my son, he's in year 13 of his final year. So he started last Monday. Whereas my daughter, she's in her first year of university. So they're still doing their distance learning. So their term will finish in July. And then they'll rethink whether they want to continue this distance learning or go back to uni.
Right. Wow. And
So
Tina, we've been seeing some incredible cooking creativity coming from your kitchen. Okay, have you always been a cooking queen, or has this pandemic fueled all this cooking creativity in you?
well, I've always been passionate about cooking. Even as a child, I'd spend countless hours playing with my kitchen sets and pretend restaurants. So I'd say cooking is an integral part of who I am. I enjoy trying out new recipes and experimenting with interesting flavor combinations.
Mm.
So,
Would you like to share one with us? Something that you've tried out recently, a dish of dishes that has found its way to your kitchen table?
that would probably be my sourdough culture, which I'm incredibly proud of because it took weeks and weeks of dedication and constant nurturing to grow into a living culture. So that would be the heart of many breads that I've baked, pancakes, waffles. And
Wow.
the reason behind this is cultivating this sourdough culture
Right.
was that yeast wasn't available in the supermarkets or specialty baking stores during this lockdown.
Right.
So it came in really handy having this.
Was there anything else that was not available during this period apart from yeast? Yeast was something we couldn't get in Switzerland as well. So
Right. Yeah,
I'm
I
there
think,
with you.
yes. I mean, even my sister in Malaysia, even she's still struggling to find yeast. She was really inspired by my sourdough breads. So constantly, she's been going to the supermarkets and looking for yeast and complaining there isn't any.
I can
So
imagine.
I was telling her, grow your own yeast with your sourdough culture.
Right.
But yeah, so besides yeast, flour as usual, because
Yes, yes.
Kiwis love to bake. So they're a nation of bakers. So that, the shelves have been empty of all this. And another thing that's been not on the shelves is pasta for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Totally no pastas at all.
Mm-hmm. Same here. I think it's got to do with the shelf life of pasta, that it has a long shelf life, and that's
Possibly.
probably the one thing people can stock up on. Um,
Exactly.
and you
And
mentioned
it's
that
easy to cook. And it's easy to cook. I mean, it's like a 5 minute, you know, dinner's ready. So
exactly,
unlike our Indian cooking. So
exactly. So Tina,
um,
looks like yeast has been your secret ingredient, quite a magical ingredient.
it sure is. It
Right.
sure is.
And what is now, literally and figuratively, on your plate? As in, what plans for the future, and what do we see on Tina's table tonight or tomorrow
Uh,
morning?
okay, I'm experimenting with fusion desserts.
Wow.
So, for example, blending aromatic Indian spices with Western style desserts to create
Wow.
exciting flavor combinations such as a rasmalai cake, a chai cake, yogurt,
Incredible.
and saffron tea cake, just to name a few. So I hope to experiment with more such desserts in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sounds wonderful.
tonight on the menu, we had lamb biryani. So
Oh,
since lamb is very popular in New Zealand, and we've got
mm-hmm.
tons of lamb, so we experimented with the lamb biryani uh, for dinner.
That
In fact,
sounds incredible.
my husband made lamb biryani today.
Oh, bravo. Bravo, husband. So, Tina, any cooking influences? Mentors now, mentors in the past?
Um, I would say my greatest influence has been my mother.
Mm-hmm.
My rich Sindhi heritage has influenced my taste buds since childhood. I remember her whipping up the most delectable dishes from ingredients available in Japan, where I grew up,
Oh, wow.
which piqued my interest in cooking as a child.
Incredible. Has there been any other Japanese influences?
Absolutely. I do a lot of Japanese cooking at home because my children love Japanese food. And I think because it's healthy, it's light, it's easy, and it's not heavy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I feel
Totally.
it's good for health.
Oh,
Like I
definitely.
said, it's not deep fried. It's more
Mm-hmm.
broiled or stir fried, and my children just love it. So we have a lot of Japanese food at home.
Mm-hmm.
And coming from Okinawa, they use a lot of pork. So a lot of my Japanese dishes are based with pork or pork fat or pork stock as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to
Yeah.
beef.
Thank you. Have there been any cooking disasters? Any cookies that we can use as paperweights or mm, blowing up of the KitchenAid or any cooking disasters?
It's funny you should ask me that because just recently during Easter, I tried making hot cross buns and I thought I'd try out a new recipe.
Aha.
Despite me following the recipe to the T, the tops of all my buns were burnt to a crisp. So I'm not sure what went wrong, whether, it was the temperature, was my oven too hot, or I really don't know what went wrong. So it just made me realize that each new recipe that you try is always a trial and error, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes can, turn out disastrous at times.
Totally.
So
Thank you for sharing that. And Tina, if we want to look you up, if we want to find some of your great recipes, and if we want to stay in touch with you, how do we do so?
So you can find me on Facebook at A Taste of Heaven, or you can follow me on Instagram at Taste of Heaven Bakes.
Okay, thank you. And before I say goodbye to you, one rapid fire round or one rapid fire question, Karan Johar style. Okay.
Okay.
If we came to Tina's kitchen, what two
Mhm.
things would I find over there? Without a doubt.
Without a doubt, I would say flour and chocolate.
Ooh, wonderful.
So
We have to
chocolate.
have the we have to have the New Zealand Switzerland chocolate debate in the future.
Oh yes, absolutely, Whitaker's.
Tina, it's been wonderful having you with us. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you for having me, and thank you so much.